Welcome back to Arsenic Culture, where beer don't matter, but bad decisions do. I'm Matt.
And I am Jason.
We haven't been drinking at all. For this one, we are going to get back into talking about bourbon. And this is an interesting, I think, conversation.
Yeah.
To talk about like business and ethics and people and stuff like that. But this takes place over at a little place called Heaven Hill. You ever heard of it?
No, I never heard of them.
Yeah, it is a distillery. Apparently, I'm not really sure. Here in Kentucky, maybe? Am I making all this up?
Yeah, it could be.
Is that not a real place?
I think we might actually have some products from Heaven Hill.
No.
Somebody brought out the big boy today.
Trying to, yeah.
The William Heaven Hill 14-year-old, which I didn't know you fucking had. So thanks for not sharing with me.
But you know, Jason, we're going to talk about the Heaven Hill strike that happened very recently, actually, and we're going to drink some Heaven Hill product, I guess, in solidarity with the workers over here.
I just want to drink it. But,
I brought out a bottle of William Heaven Hill 14-year. I'm going to get a little close-up on the camera there, too. This is an open bottle.
And
Jason,
I brought a bottle of the newest release from O. Fitzgerald, the 7-year, with a nice green bag.
Yeah, his is brand new.
And this bottle.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's a very fancy. It's
very
like
fancy.
it's like an homage to an homage. This is like the Crystal Decanter, which was also like an homage to.
So their Decanter series they released, in the last decade or whatever. It's nicer than this, but this one is bringing it back to the shelf. Right. So I'm very excited to try this. I've not had it.
Hell
we'll see.
Man. Yeah.
I'm gonna crack it open as you're talking.
Okay, we'll start with it.
Oh, for sure.
I
think that was gonna be a little better than this.
You think so? Dude, so like I bought this William Heaven Hill. Like I seriously think it was like 8 years ago.
Yeah, 2017, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. I don't think I've even. Well, I'd say I haven't tried it since then, but it's half empty, so somebody has. But anyways, in September 2021, around 420 union workers at Heaven Hill's Bardstown Distillery walked out. A 6-week strike ensued that barely registered outside bourbon circles, but inside it rocked one of the biggest family-owned booze brands in the U.S. Heaven Hill Distillery, we were talking about this just a minute ago. They are a family-owned business, and they pride themselves on that. They're not a huge conglomerate like a Brown-Forman or something like that.
Well, they're huge, but they're not owned by a parent company.
They're not corporate, right?
Allegedly,
quote unquote.
That's right.
But when you get to that size, like you kind of have to take on some corporate tendencies, and I guess that's really what we're gonna talk about here. They try to instill, I guess, push their weight around. Is that the way?
I feel like the main point of this strike, though, back then was actually the work week itself. So what they're used to, the employees there, was kind of the Monday through Friday. Like, it didn't matter the shift or the hours. It was more Monday through Friday, weekends off.
Right.
And with Heaven Hill getting so big, they needed to run their operation 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
And they were saying.
So at that point, you would have a regular schedule, which is Monday through Friday.
Right.
Then you would have an irregular schedule or weekend schedule, whatever. That's like that Friday through Sunday or Friday through Monday, however you spend it.
Right.
And so what they were worried about was that. Plus, the usual stuff of, some pay, some benefits, some 401k match.
Health insurance, stuff like that.
But those were the minor points. I felt like it, honestly, reading about this, I think the major one was the work schedule.
Yeah.
And I get it.
Working the weekends, I guess holidays.
For sure.
Yeah.
And overtime. There's an overtime issue.
The workers were represented by UFCW Local 23D, which was a union.
Still is.
Yeah, still is, I'm assuming. Mostly the bottling and maturation staff. Heaven Hill came down with this contract. The way the unions work is, I had to Google this because I'm not in a union, nor have I ever been in one. Have you ever been in a union?
No.
So the company that employs the union workers will present a contract, and the contract typically has a term limit. 5 years or something like that. I think it usually goes between like 3 and 5 years or something like that. And it'll lay out like all the kind of stipulations, all like the work requirements for the people in that union, and they basically have to agree on it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mundane thing. The union, quote unquote, exists to support the union worker and defend them from unfair policies from the corporation. The corporation obviously has their best interest in mind, so they just try to represent each other and then try to come to terms on something that's fair for everybody.
So you get power in numbers. I mean, from a union perspective, I've never been in one, but I understand how they work for the most part. They can be bad and good, in my opinion. I think the biggest thing is you have the most powerful tool you have as a union employee is the strike.
Right.
That's how you pull your labor from their company. That's what you do. So what happens here is you have somebody that you reach a point where you cannot agree on something,
right?
And you need support. So everybody is one.
Yes.
That's the key thing.
Yeah.
If
that's
you're
the
not
solidarity aspect of it.
If somebody breaks apart, you're screwed. That's kind of the key.
Yeah. So the strike is really it's kind of silly, but like you see people striking all the time on the news, in your hometown, whatever. People will go on strike. The strike is actually a really standard process.
Yeah.
The strike is when your union can't come to terms with the corporation or the business that you work for. So you basically say, we're not working. And it's kind of a symbolic thing. So like, technically speaking, they don't have to stand outside with picket lines and signs and run around and say like, we don't want to work, but they do. And they do that because it is a symbolic gesture to show the public that you are, I guess, speaking out against unfair practices as you see them anyway. So that's what they do. They'd say, okay, Heaven Hill comes down, we want you to do this. The union says, this is unfair. In this particular instance, 96% of the union actually said like, fuck that.
Yeah.
And
immediately.
Like that's huge.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
huge.
like that's basically unanimous.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
no, this is completely unfair. So then they went on strike. The strike lasted how long?
I think it was 6 weeks.
It wasn't that. Yeah, it
6
wasn't
weeks.
long.
Yeah.
It began September 11th of all days.
Damn.
And it was right when the existing contract expired. It went on through the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. What is the Kentucky Bourbon Festival?
So that's coming up. I think it's in October. So it's like an annual festival, and it's a shit show now.
Who holds that?
At Barstown, in Barstown.
So that's a Barstown. Okay, well,
Yeah,
okay,
I think it's
get
like,
it then.
I mean, it is a rat race to get VIP tickets. They sold out immediately. Like, I don't even mess with that stuff, though.
Yeah.
It's not my cup of tea, but
Okay, yeah, I've never been. It's not been on my radar, so
it shouldn't be.
it should be. It won't. So Heaven Hill, the things we already kind of talked about them, what they were trying to, I guess, impose, what they were trying to offer.
Yeah.
But
I
was
mean,
just
the
like,
key things here they're looking
Yeah.
at, though, was increased pay a little bit. That's what they're looking for. Affordable health care, so it increased employer contribution
right,
to that.
401ks and stuff.
Exact 401k too. So overtime was a big one though. They had overtime structured in the original contract of like, so 40 hours a week is their work week, right? So if you work 41 hours, you get 1 hour of overtime. The way they had it set up was it was going to be 48 hours a week was going to be standard pay.
yeah.
49 would be
the
overtime. And that's a simplistic way of saying it. Honestly, looked at daily. So if you would have to work 10 hours a day essentially to get 11 as your overtime.
And the way Heaven Hill saw it is they were trying to make up for those concessions with other quote unquote benefits.
Yeah.
Stuff like the increased pay, like you saw. But all in all, it's just like the people that actually work and be like, no, fuck that.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing that. So
I think unions can be really good, and they can also be a hindrance as well. So, you know, I'm indifferent on them.
Yeah.
But I think in this scenario, it probably worked out for the better for them.
I agree.
And it got them back to work, making a good product. Speaking of product, I want to talk a little bit about our Old Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
So Old Fitzgerald's an old brand from them. It's a wheated bourbon. So think Pappy, or Weller is what it is from Buffalo Trace. So from this one, they actually acquired this brand in 1999. That's when Heaven Hill got it, Old Fitzgerald. The bottled in bond, which is this one, so 100 proof, that was actually discontinued in 2014. And then it was reintroduced as the canner. We talked about those nice decanters.
Yep, those crystals.
In 2018. So all these are 100 proof. Each one of them has a different age statement. So you have some decanters. I think the youngest one is 8 or 9. And the oldest one that I believe I've seen is 17 or 18.
Okay, right on.
So a lot. This one here is bringing back the standard Old Fitzgerald at 100 proof, 7-year-old age statement, which is great.
That's great.
But the one thing they did on this one too is it's a 700 milliliter instead of 750.
Which is odd as shit. Being in America, that's odd. If we were in like Spain, that would be normal.
Correct. They're moving to that. So you look at Woodford's moving to that. So Brown Forman stuff, they're moving to that. Jack Daniels. They'll say it's different reasons, but their main reason is money, right?
Yeah.
So you can charge the same for less of a product.
Yeah.
But speaking of price, I mean, this is an affordable drink normally, Old Fitzgerald, when you can buy it.
Right.
Even now, though, this bottle was like $65.
Sure.
Which isn't horrible.
No.
Under $10 a year.
All things considered, it's not bad.
For sure. This is supposed to be readily available. That's what we're looking for.
That would be great. And honestly,
So a
this,
shelfer.
I mean, this is straight. I've always enjoyed like the old fits, even like the older ones and the crystal decanter and stuff like that. Old fits to me has always kind of been just like an everyday, almost even kind of like a mixing bourbon.
It is. Yeah.
I
for
mean,
sure.
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's a bottom shelf traditionally, or
Yeah.
at best medium shelf.
Right.
You know,
I agree.
Middle shelf.
Yeah.
So yours though, now you got the nicer one. So I'm still working on my old fits over here, but that William Heaven
mine
Hill.
while you were talking.
that William Heaven Hill is a special bottle. So this was not weeded, or I don't think it's weeded. It's not. So it's 14 years old. It's 115 proof. This is their pretty much premier line from Heaven Hill. So really excited to try this one. And thanks for not sharing it with me for 7 years.
We're not even going to open it today. Like I just
it's already open.
I just wanted you to see it. Yeah. You're sneaking swigs while I'm talking over here, not even seeing it. Yeah, this was like the moment where I was like deciding if I wanted to get into bourbon. I was still standing in lines. And like I stood in line to get this one, and this is, I told you earlier, they were actually the crystal old fits is what they were like, everybody was there for. And I was like, I've had that like 4 or 5 times. Like, I don't want it again. And this popped up and I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll give it a shot. And I enjoy it. But like, that was kind of the moment where I was like, I don't think I want to get this deep into bourbon, but I still got this bottle. It was like $200.
I mean, I would say retail on that's between probably $200 and $250 at the time. And then, secondary on that's probably $600 to $700 right now.
Yeah.
So should be a great pour.
Yeah.
Back to the old fits real quick before we drink that one. What do you think of this one?
I like it. Like I said,
it's good.
Like I said, I mean, it's kind of a mixing bourbon for me, but I'm enjoy it with like.
So it's a sipping bourbon for me, but it's lower proof. It drinks under 100 proof for me. It's very flavorful. I mean, it's a traditional weeder. It's sweet, you know, if you think of that way.
Yeah.
But I think the price tag $60 to $70. I'll keep a bottle if I can find it. I don't need 8. Yeah, I want to keep one.
Sure, for what it is, I'd get one and just like have it.
Yeah,
I don't know if it would be my go-to, but I enjoy it enough. Yeah.
So how's this one?
So have you ever had this before?
So I don't think I've had the 14. I've had several of these. I
guess I am holding out on you.
Right? Now you could have shared it with me back in the I don't remember. We're gonna say you fucking didn't.
I don't even remember.
We're gonna say you fucking didn't. You holding out on me, whatever.
I guess we need to go up there and see what else I have in the back of my cabinet. I didn't even fucking know.
I've only got these Pappy 23s from Stitzel-Weller. I don't even know what that is.
I had to go get this and like wipe all the fucking dust off of it for them to make it like camera ready.
You should have left the dust on.
I know. I guess I should have. Yeah.
So generally speaking, though, a bourbon open this long would really fade. So the space in there, the oxygen kind of moves around, the air. So a lot of people will actually transfer this to a smaller container.
Really?
Just for the viewers.
Well, that drinks like a light caramel with like 0 alcohol. I'll be honest, like I don't even remember what this tasted like before, but no, that's fucking good.
It's had some oxidation from being open like that, but honestly, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sticky sweet, great mouthfeel, great finish, viscous, oak, light caramel, like you said, sweet with that. Definitely a different sweet profile than the weeder.
It is very different.
But it does not drink 115 proof. It's not hot at all.
No, not at all. It's actually super smooth. Really I remember when I bought that, even at the time, I was like asking people because I didn't really know what it was. Nobody else knew what it was either. So I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't want to get another Old Fitz. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you're going to switch the bags.
What?
If it fits in there.
I'll make it.
If it don't fit, you must have quit.
I'll take my old Fitz home, and you have that William Heaven Hill, and I'll see you later.
All right. So this whole Heaven Hill strike thing, I think the moral of the story is look out for the little guy. This was kind of a big deal in bourbon back then, but it was more like a testament to like the Heaven Hill Distillery saying that they're for the common person, they're a family-run business, but they ended up being like, you know what, we want to just push the corporate hierarchy and the policy, and people finally push back and they're like, no. I think everybody's better for it. All the local businesses ended up like pulling Heaven Hill from their shelves in solidarity with the workers and stuff. Yeah, a lot of like local business around there would just like pull Heaven Hill and be like, fuck that until we get this resolved. And they did. So
there might even be some hangover from that we see now, because if you look at Heaven Hill products in the Lexington, Kentucky area, we don't get as much as other states or areas.
No.
So maybe there's some of that. Maybe Heaven Hill's got a little bitterness, like.
Maybe, yeah.
Seriously, I didn't even know that. So it makes sense now, but we do not get much of these things.
No.
Which is odd.
No. Well, I'm glad you got some of that.
I would definitely buy this again.
Yeah.
I'll take this one home with me. And I would buy this one. I mean, I like this one. Again, I don't need 6 bottles of it, but I want to keep one.
I love the idea that ideally, hopefully, it will be readily available. That's the biggest thing for me.
Same as that in the Wild Turkey 8-year 101.
I agree. Yeah, so thanks for watching. If you liked it, and share it if you didn't, then just keep drinking till you do. For more Arsenic Culture, you can check us out on all the socials. We are at Arsenic Culture.
Like and subscribe on YouTube, damn it.
And we'll see you on the next one.